Back when the Dragon Prince first started airing, it was compared so often to Avatar: The Last Airbender. To a certain extent, this was understandable considering that Avatar is still the benchmark that a lot of fans use to measure all other aspiring fantasy series against. Is it as good as Avatar? Are the characters as rich as Avatars? Are the conflicts as nuanced as Avatars? And it didn't help that one of the Dragon Prince's showrunners, Aaron Haas, was the head writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it also doesn't help that both shows are about people who have magic that involves them manipulating the elements. As we look back, I don't think we can say that comparison was really fair to the Dragon Prince. The whole idea that the show succeeds or fails based on whether it's as good as Avatar was never a logical or thoughtful idea. Thankfully, the Dragon Prince has managed to step out of Avatar's shadows as it has progressed. It's established itself very fully as its own thing. But there are still more than a few winks and nods to Haas's past show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Let's check out some of those winks and some of those nods. First, there are the obvious casting references. Jack DeSena played Sokka in Avatar: The Last Airbender back when he was relatively close to Sokka's age. Now, 15 years later, he plays Callum, the protagonist of The Dragon Prince, and a Sokka-like character. DeSena is significantly older now, and he has a full beard that makes him look halfway between a mountain man and a Brooklyn hipster. But his voice is still the same, and he still delivers quite a good performance. Like Sokka, Callum is cunning, he's creative, he's clever, he's good at coming up with plans. Even though he's also a little more awkward than he would like to admit. Like Sokka, he falls in love with a mysterious girl who's associated with the moon. The biggest difference between them, I would say, is their artistic skills. Sokka is a notoriously terrible artist, as best evidenced in a Season 2 episode of Avatar where he tries to draw posters so they can find Appa, but all his drawings of Appa are terrible. Callum, however, is quite a good artist. He's skilled, he's talented. Even when he does a quick sketch, it is far better than anything Sokka could come up with. He even impresses Rayla with his drawing skills. Now, this is not all. Eric Todd Dellums lended his lovely voice to Avatar so he could voice Ko the Face Stealer, the mysterious spirit that Aang confronts near the end of Season 1, when he's trying to figure out what to do about Zhao trying to kill the Moon Spirit. Dellums has quite a distinctive voice, and Haas was apparently as impressed by it as the rest of us, because he cast Dellums in a much bigger role in The Dragon Prince. He voices the show's primary antagonist, Eryth, this mysterious, enigmatic, menacing Star-Touch elf. Now, there's a lot we don't know about both characters, Ko and Eryth. If you want to know more about Ko, I suggest you read some of the Avatar comics, especially the comic trilogy The Search, where they find Zuko's mother. It also gives you quite a bit more backstory about Ko and those around him, although Ko still remains somewhat mysterious. Eryth, we don't have a lot of information about in any bit of canonical material, but hopefully we will be getting more information about him as the show progresses. He is a very strange villain, and he is very disturbing. That we don't know much about him makes him more menacing than he otherwise would have been. This is a being who has lived for over a millennia. This is a being who has knowledge of information that Callum and the other characters of the Dragon Prince don't even know exists. The thought of that is terrifying. It's hard to think of anything more dangerous than that, so Eryth should be repulsive, but Delms instead makes him quite charming, even strangely seductive. He pulls you in so you can hardly look away, even though you know that he does not have good plans for the world. Those are the major things, but there are also a few smaller things, a few smaller similarities that I would like to point out. In the first episode of The Dragon Prince, Echoes of Thunder, we see Claudia, the upbeat goth turned increasingly megalomaniacal dark magic mastermind, reading a book called Love Amongst the Dragons. Now, Avatar fans should be able to recognize that title because it is a play Zuko mentions in episode 317 of Avatar, The Beach. He says that his mother, Ursa, always took him to see that play at the theater, and the Ember Island players always butchered it. Ursa's interest in such a play might seem weird until you read the comics and realize her backstory. She used to be an actress. She loves masks, and indeed one of the masks she herself owned was the Blue Spirit mask Zuko later uses in Avatar. And Ursa had a starring role in Love Amongst the Dragons. Now, for all we know, she might not have liked the performance the Ember Island players gave any better than Zuko did, but she still went, and she still took her kids, because she wanted those memories. She wanted memories of a much happier time in her life. Now, what exactly does Love Amongst the Dragons mean in the context of the Dragon Prince? Now that, we have absolutely no idea about. Is it fiction? Is it non-fiction? Dragons are so important to the story of the Dragon Prince that a title like Love Amongst the Dragons could refer to just about anything. Probably, though, it doesn't mean anything. Mostly it's just a cool Easter egg, as is the next item on our list. In the middle of Season 3 of The Dragon Prince, Callum comes across a boomerang, and he refers to it feeling familiar somehow. This is a nice little callback to Sokka, the character Jack DeSena played in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like Callum, Sokka is a funny guy, but unlike Callum, Sokka frequently used his boomerang. It was a signature possession of his, and he really did a lot to attach his identity to that boomerang. When he has to leave it behind during one episode, he suffers some sort of existential crisis, and he's a bit miffed that someone refers to him as Ponytail Guy and not Boomerang Guy. He's proud of being Boomerang Guy, as silly as that sounds. He uses his boomerang to great effect in Avatar. In the first fight we see him get into, he uses it to hit Zuko on the head. And later, in Season 3, he uses it to kill Combustion Man while Combustion Man is attacking Team Avatar. And I think the weapon honestly fits his character quite well. Sokka's about outthinking you, not just charging straight ahead. He's a bit of a nerd. He likes his tactics. And what is the boomerang? It's something that just swoops around you and then comes back and hits you. Zuko, we see in that first confrontation, he thinks he's fine when he sees the boomerang zip around him, and so he's unprepared when it comes back to smack him in the face. That's the appeal of the boomerang and the appeal of Sokka. They're unconventional. They subvert your expectations to an extent. They're clever and inventive. And because Sokka is so associated with this boomerang, I really do like this little callback. It's a nice reference to alert longtime fans to the fact that hey, I know you're watching, without it coming off as condescending or distracting to the actual heart of this show, The Dragon Prince. So anyway, if you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince and Avatar. They're brilliant, thoughtful shows. Honestly, I'm a bit curious who's watching this video, because I have both Dragon Prince fans and Avatar fans watching this. So if you are an Avatar fan, I highly recommend that you check out The Dragon Prince if you haven't already. Once you stop trying to compare it to Avatar and just accept it as its own distinct show, it becomes quite enjoyable. It's a very smart and clever and warm-hearted show. And I'm glad it's been such a success. It's been getting better with every season. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed all these little references I explored. And I'm sure they'll make more in the future. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. I promise y'all that. Thank y'all again. Adios, comrades.